Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we continue our director spotlight from Michael Mann with what may be, and to me, is his greatest film of all time, Heat. It was released on December 15th, 1995. It was written by Michael Mann and directed by Michael Mann. I am Colton Robertson. I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? It is always a pleasure to be here, my friend.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And, hey, I, you know, sometimes when we're getting into a movie that I have been adamantly supportive of, a big fan of, I worry that I oversell it. This was not one of those times I was worried about it because this movie's just so damn good. I'm assuming you feel rather well about it, given our conversations post-viewing.
No, this is like, I feel like possibly I did that for Prestige. And like, Prestige, it's a good movie, but like maybe going in with those expectations didn't quite make it what it was. This was just like, it's undeniable. I mean, this is like, it's just 3 hours of pure holy fuck. Like this, you said, I forgot when you said it, but you said someone was asking if you could apply one title to everyone's like filmography, and oh my god, it's especially here. This I was feeling the heat. This was incredible, and like honestly, I was trying to debate on whether this is like the best movie of every movie we've covered in the director spotlight so far. Right, and
maybe not.
It's like there are a few. I mean, it is up with the best of the best company.
It's in that stratosphere. Like it is that good. I remember after our first watch, or my first watch, it was amidst our top 100 project, and I can't remember how deep we were into it, but I believe it was my last late addition in the top 100 project because I added it rather late. Like, right here, it landed at 42 in my top 100, and even that is no longer the case after a second viewing.
I'd say it's pretty high up there.
Fucking good movie, man. I have a wonderful time with it, and it's it's a certified classic. It's people love this movie, and with every reason in the world. Goddamn, yeah. No, I mean, how are you not gonna love Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, man?
Yeah, and like because I guess I've known that they've been in a movie together. You know, I've seen The Godfather, but we never got to see them together. They were in different time periods. You know, they never got to act off each other. Is this their actual like first?
The first movie where they have scenes together?
Yeah.
I think so.
It really took from Godfather 2 to this? To like... Because that's kind of crazy.
Godfather 2 was 74.
Wow. And it took this long to get them together. Well, goddamn, Michael Mann, if that's true, thank you. Thank you very, very much. Because this just... They were... I didn't know who to give the nod to. You know, I was just like, well, I mean, it's kind of clearly Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. There's a few other performances.
Yeah, one way or another.
Yeah, there's some like slight, like every performance is good. Like even the wife's, like like every single character has like a moment in the movie where like they could have like their Oscar moment sort of thing that like I kind of look for whenever I give a performance nod. but it's just De Niro and Al Pacino are doing it the whole time.
Right.
They're just that
Yeah,
good.
no, it's hilarious that Robert De Niro and Al Pacino are like this iconic duo. People are like, whenever an acting duo gets on, like I remember a couple months back, this is before all the shit hit the fan for him and everything, but Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan were like, we want to be the next Bob De Niro and Al Pacino. That's what we want to do. That's the kind of shit we want to be on. Bob De Niro and Al Pacino made 4 movies together. Wow. They made 4 movies together. Godfather 2, Heat, The Irishman, and a movie called Righteous Kill. So I've never seen Righteous Kill, but those 3 movies, The Godfather Part 2, The Irishman, and this, what a fucking resume, dude. Wow. We've covered all 3 of those movies, and all of them have done rather incredibly whenever we talk about them. Like,
I would have expected way more than 4, because you're right. Everyone always talks it like that's all you hear about is like maybe it's just how big they are. It's just like they're just kind of some of the biggest actors.
They're fucking movie stars, you know. Like that's
but this, I mean, oh my god, yeah, they're like the character Pacino is playing here, like it's just perfect.
She's got a great ass.
There's something about a woman.
Your head is all the way up in it.
I love that. Like, and then after he says, I wrote it down just so I could get it. He says, when I think of asses, and then he pauses and he goes, a woman's ass. He makes sure to correct himself there, you know, because it was too general. An ass, a woman's ass, something comes out of me, you know. He just, and I'm like, what the fuck?
And Hank Azaria is just staring in fucking awe of everything Al Pacino just did. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, because he made that up. He made that up. No one knew he was about to do that. He just did it. And apparently,
great ass.
Vincent Hanna was supposed to be like have a coke addiction, I've heard, in early versions of the script, which makes these outbursts seem a lot more, you know, the logic follows. But I think it's way better that it's just like he's in the game. It's just
unhinged.
It's just who he is, and like a little Scarface-esque. You know, maybe if that we see, you know, Vincent Hanna just doing lines of coke, you're like, okay, you know, this is Scarface in a different universe here.
I'd be willing to bet that's why he doesn't do a bunch of coke, is because he was Scarface, and because it would feel too inseparable from that character.
Yeah, that's the opposite goes for Val Kilmer. It's like, all right, this dude's Batman, give him the fucking black Camaro. You know, he's kind of a piece of shit to his wife. You know, fair enough. I mean, pretty much all of these guys are. They're not the best at relationships.
No, definitely not the best spouses.
Whenever I saw him storm out of the house, get in the black Camaro and just drive away, I was like, okay, that's just gotta be a little nod to the Batmobile. But yeah, the coke and Scarface reference, I think would have been a little too head on, a little too on the nose, on the nose
to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. It's incredible. Yeah, Vincent Hanna, one of my favorite characters in Michael Mann movies, period. In fact, both of them, Vincent Hanna and Neil McCauley, as far as the movies we've covered so far, I would say they're 1, 2, even with Frank back in Thief, probably 3 behind those two. Because, I mean, like, just the most, you get 2 hours and 50 minutes here. Mm-hmm. The most thorough and meaningful character work in Michael Mann's filmography so far as we've covered it. I mean, because the first time around, I really, really, really liked the movie and I really appreciated it. But this time around, it made me cry. It made me feel a lot more than I anticipated. And, you know, I don't know if that's because I watched it, like, most of my watch came after 1 a.m. and I was deliriously tired and, you know, I'm feeling things at a more heightened level or something. But goddamn, at the end there, when he takes his hand and and we pull back to that final shot of him like just looking off into the distance, holding Neil's hand. I just got chills immediately, and tears started running down my face, bro. Like I was like, this is, and it wasn't, and it, there is a level to that that's just like the character work has been so fascinating, getting to a point where Neil's character is where he is, and he's decided, fuck it, like I'm done, basically. Let's fucking do this. It went full Frank at the end of Thief.
Yeah, God, man.
But it was more so whenever something is just well done enough, sometimes that will happen to me where I'm just like, whoa, that was good. And that was, that being like the end, bro. I could see it though.
Got me, now that I'm thinking back on it, it's like kind of the whole crux of their characters. And like, it's the only thing that Hannah can commit himself to. He can't have a relationship with. He's on his third marriage. This one's on its way out. Who knows if it's going to stand? In his words, it can't. And the only I guess he has sex at the beginning. They have like they make love at the beginning, and it's all cute, whatever. And really, I mean, like even the pauses and like looking at each other too, like
very intimate.
I was like, whoa, okay, cool. Michael Mann loves to do that. I don't know. He like very. I don't know.
That's what's interesting about Michael Mann as a director that we've pointed out a couple times now is that like in a setting with, we're dealing with violent men and a lot of his protagonist and antagonistic roles. Like that is often what we're dealing with. And usually what comes as a result of that is a lot more violence towards women. And, that obviously happens in Manhunter, but the dude's literally a serial killer. You
expect it from that guy.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy you go, he probably would hurt women. But Frank, he was a dick, but he never put his hands on Jesse. And the same thing happens here with Val Kilmer. And
he came close. I thought he really close.
Oh yeah, no, like he's and it's clear like there's always this other thing going on there where like he's an addict, he's addicted to gambling, he's a junkie, he's got all this shit going on, and she's getting tired of it.
That's
but then
that's got to be a rough lifestyle.
Oh yeah, no, it's just he always displays this tenderness towards the women. And is like, cause, there's that line that Val Kilmer does say to Robert De Niro where he goes, he spits the classic, like, never have anything in your life you can't walk out on 30 seconds flat. Like that's it. You're gone. That's done. And he goes, hey, the sun rises and sets with her for me. And like, that is Michael Mann's attitude towards women in his movies. Like they are always put on a pedestal to a degree, and they're always treated with respect more so than, a Nolan character typically.
More used to progress the man story. Women are in Nolan's story usually,
and they're almost used. They are used to a degree to strengthen the stories of the men. Like that's certainly the case. But they're more supporting characters than they are devices to move forward. Like the relationship between Al Pacino's character Vincent and his wife in this movie. What was her name? Was she Justine? Yeah.
Wow.
There's a much more real back and forth than just him dominating the conversation, dominating the screen time, dominating what their relationship is, what it means, and everything. Justine is an actual character, and the same goes for Edie, and the same goes for Charlene. Like they are all as important to this movie. Like I'd say all three of them might be even more important to this movie than Val Kilmer was. Chris, I mean,
honestly,
he's cool, and like he provides this really. He's actually used more to further Neil's story than any of the women in his life are. I would say
he doesn't really have much development at all. It's just he's just sick and addicted, and like even whenever like they're all like, all right, we got the heat, like we should really walk. You know, he's the first to be like, nah, it's
I need this.
It is the juice, or is he the one that says like
no?
It is the juice for me, or
Michael is the
else?
one who says it is the action is the juice for him.
Oh my God,
but
yeah, like
Val Kilmer's logic in this movie was just that, like, I think there was a point where he says Vegas in the Super Bowl, I sweat me out. Like I need this. This is the last one. And even he, after the bank heist, like there's this fascinating, he made it out with his life. He's alive. He is done. You know, like he does plan on going back to Charlene. And that moment did get me this time too. Whenever she gives the little signal on the railing and her eyes are welling up with tears, and Val Kilmer, I give him so much fucking credit, dude. He is so goddamn good at acting, and for a role where he doesn't get as much to choose, like, you are supporting Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. You know you're not going to be the guy in the movie, you know, and but he makes the most of the scenes he's in, man, because when his face goes from that smile seeing Charlene to just breaking, and then him turning around and being like, "Hey, do you know where I can?" You know, like like
any
fucking
good places to rent around here.
Yeah,
what a question to ask a random person as well. You know, on the street, like I guess like it's Vegas. I don't know. I've never been.
Is
there.
it Vegas or LA? Like. I can't remember where.
Oh, it is LA.
But...
It is LA. Yeah, I don't know why I said Vegas.
Well, we go to Vegas throughout the movie every once in a while, and
okay.
You
That's
know,
true.
like he's like,
you're on a flight back.
This
to
is
LA
Vegas.
You
don't have jurisdiction here, and he's like, Las Vegas Police Department takes you in. We extradite you to New Jersey for transporting cigarettes across state line. You know, that whole thing. So there is a place jump.
Man, that moment, even Charlene's like reaction of her sitting in the room, like waiting for him, like you know, like
Ashley Judd, man, she is putting on.
Dude, it was amazing because like she didn't say a word, you know, she was just sitting there, just being like fuck, like because she thought she got away with it, you know, it's nobody, it's not him. All right, check him out, get the car, and I was like no. No. Like, it's so weird that I'm rooting for all of these people, you know, like, I don't care. I'm not going to root
there's
for the
actually not a single person you're rooting against.
That's true, because I am rooting for Hannah as well.
You know that interaction in the diner, you know something is built, we're building to a final standoff. That is what is going to happen.
From that moment, I'm like, this movie can only end one way.
And that's the thing, is that like, and either way, you're actually going to be sad. You're going to be disappointed with the ending. If Neil kills Vincent, you're upset. If Vincent kills Neil, I would say you're upset, but you might be a little less upset than you would be if Neil had killed Vincent. I think that thematically, it just kind of tied itself together fancily there.
This is the way it should have gone. You'd like the... I mean, like, say he has to leave Edie and then just go wherever he's going to go. Like, that's not the ending you're really wanting, you know? Like, if him just, I don't know, I feel like he's never really...
Put it all behind him.
I don't think he'd really actually stay away anyways, you know? He's there, once you're in this life, like, nothing could be cool, you know? Like that has to be the most exciting and adrenaline rushing shit that, like, if you were to try to live a normal life, you just couldn't. Like, the moment at the end of The Killer, like, I bet, you know, I bet he sits on a beach and he just, like, has a moment of, like, realization when he's like, oh, yeah, no, this isn't for me, actually.
Yeah, this fucking sucks. And that was something that occurred to me, that, like, I can't even fathom the levels of adrenaline within you when he's running through the airplane field and he hides behind he's looking for the places to hide. There's like 5 little structures and he's trying to decide which one to stand behind. And then he goes there and he stands there for a few seconds. And this is a testament to Michael Mann, because, and it happens with the Ashley Judd scene as well, whenever Val Kilmer is about to get pulled over and, you know, she's waiting to hear. There's something that a lesser director and lesser editors would do to build tension, which is cut back and forth. The music swells. Everything's building and building and building and building up to a final reveal, like a final little thing. With Ashley Judd, the camera just sits there with her, and there are cuts, like it cuts to the detective being like, all right, I want to hear about it. It cuts to Val Kilmer once he gets pulled over. But most of the time it just sits with Ashley Judd. And the same thing happens with Robert De Niro at the end of the movie whenever he is waiting and waiting and waiting. And there is a score to that moment, but it's subtle. It's much less intrusive than Manhunter or Thief's finale.
That's true. We didn't have one of those, I don't think.
No. He definitely went with the more broad. And we are also almost a full decade removed from the last movie we covered, from his filmography, because Manhunter was 86, if I recall correctly.
Wow. Is there any movies in between these ones?
Yes. Yes, I believe so. Michael Mann did have, he had The Last of the Mohicans. Was also, that was kind of a star-making turn for Daniel Day-Lewis, actually. The Last of the Mohicans, directed by Michael Mann. A TV movie called L.A. Takedown, and a TV series. He directed one episode of Crime Story. So, between Manhunter and this, a TV movie, The Last of the Mohicans, and an episode of television. And then it was like, well, let's get back to it.
And he's like, all right, I think I'm ready, he says. Give me Al Pacino. Give me who's the lead in this movie? Or is it Pacino or is it De Niro? Is this
I would say we've got a double lead here. I don't think there is one you could pick over the other,
I was like, I don't think one is supporting the other really. I mean, they're both, I don't know if like how they decide that, I mean, it's clear in some movies, but like is in this case, like, I don't know if there was, 4 Oscars it was nominated for. I'm just wondering if.
Oh, was it?
It looks like nominee for Best Motion Picture of the Year. That says The Aviator? Am I on a different movie? Oh, I'm just on Michael Mann. LOL. I'm on just Michael Mann's 4 Oscar nominations.
I was like, I'm looking at the awards, and I don't believe there are any Oscar noms for this.
Yeah, I was just looking at Michael Mann. Wow, he's only got Michael Mann? Wow, okay. This did not get anything?
Nothing. Not even a nom at the Oscars.
For what was going on in 95? What the hell? Like
Casino?
What? Okay.
Robert De Niro had quite the year in 1995.
Damn.
I believe there was also
Batman Forever with Val Kilmer. I don't know if that won many awards at the Oscars.
Definitely not. I mean, 7.
Ooh. Okay.
So this year is the first time since 1995 that Martin Scorsese, David Fincher, and Michael Mann all release a movie in the same calendar year. And so far, so fucking good.
Wow.
We got Casino versus Killers, 7 versus The Killer, and now we're going to have Heat versus Ferrari. So it's looking like 95 is going to be tough to touch, but Killers of the Flower Moon really did a good fucking job at elevating 2023 there.
This is, man, I can't believe it didn't get any. I mean, because like even with 7 and like in Casino, like still, like I know those are great movies, but like nothing from here, like at all. Not even a single nomination is kind of wild. But like I wonder, like this cast is just so stacked.
I mean, Casino only got nommed for Best Actress in a Leading Role for Sharon Stone. So,
wow.
It was 1995 Oscars must have been cooking.
Would that technically be the 96 Oscars? Or
yes,
like,
it would.
So, okay. Yeah, because it said Forrest Gump and stuff like that. Let's see. Apollo 13. Okay. Braveheart. Okay. Dead Man Walking. Leaving Las Vegas. I mean, I've heard of, obviously, Apollo 13 and Braveheart, but okay.
Man,
I mean,
have time believing that none of these None of these people got any noms there.
Wow. Yeah, that's a little. I mean, let's see. Best
Susan Sarandon did win actress in a leading role that year.
the best
Deserved.
actor. Guess who won?
Nick
Nicolas
Cage, baby.
Cage. Wow, Robert De Niro's not even on there, even for Casino.
Wow. Batman Forever got nommed for cinematography, but this movie did not, which melts my fucking mind.
Literally so confident that Batman Forever didn't get anything. I'm like, if this didn't get anything, no shit, Batman Forever didn't get anything. Of course. Yeah, Kevin Spacey, not even the 7 role. The Usual Suspects. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what the hell happened?
Yeah, it's one of those examples where it's just like, well,
I don't really pay. This is why I don't pay much attention.
Yeah, I'm like,
awards.
It's nice to tertiary, like think about it, be like, oh, what did this win? And then when you're like, oh, it didn't win anything. This is fucking ridiculous. Fuck the Oscars. Wow.
Yeah, no, this is a dual lead that I think. I don't know who to give what, and I was going back and forth on who to give the performance and who to give the character because I didn't want to just give one.
No.
Near both of them or Al Pacino both of them. I ended up going with Al Pacino's performance because I thought it's just so over the top and just perfect. And I do like the calm collectedness. Yeah, I do like the calm collectedness of De Niro, but I think like I just got more out of Pacino's performance. And then I gave De Niro the character as Neil. But them two, they just it's incredible what they can do. And you're right about like having the camera set on them. Like in that last moment, like De Niro's like he's like freaking the fuck out. He's like he's still like knowing what to do. He's aiming very he's what was he in the military? Or was it Hannah was in the military?
Vincent was a Marine at some point.
He was a Marine. Apparently Val Kilmer might have, or no, he was just actually in the military. I think I was reading some trivia where, like, in that the shootout after the bank,
the way he's swinging that thing around, homie's a goddamn marksman. I'll tell you that. The way he's like putting the gun up and turning and bringing it down and bringing the gun up and turn, like I was like, bro is effective.
It was clean. Yeah, it was awesome. But that's crazy is that you can say like Val Kilmer is like a almost. I don't want to say a non-factor, because because
his character, especially on a second viewing, he is a much more impactful character on the movie, and specifically the characterization of Neil. There is a lot to Neil that I really, really appreciate, and becomes very, very complicated over the course of the movie, where he does all this talking, about how, never have anything in your life that you can't walk out on in 30 seconds flat. That's it. He can't even do that to his crew. He can't even do that to Val Kilmer. He can't do that to Trejo. He can't do that to any of his guys, because that's the indiscretion there that makes him lose it. It's not her, it's not Edie, Edie, that last moment with her, like looking at him and him being like, not saying anything and just leaving. It's obvious he doesn't want to leave her. This is the dissonance between what he wants and the discipline. It's the discipline, that's the thing. It's fucking hard to watch, but the thing that led him here in the first place was that he could not let Trejo's murder go unanswered for.
Yep. Gotta take care of something. And I was like, God damn it. I knew you were going to say that, and I knew you were going to do it, because obviously the movie's not
it's a fucking movie. You're not going to get out of here scot-free.
Yeah, you're not going to go to New Zealand. It was like a possibility. I'm like, whenever he's like debating, and like he starts to like kind of like the camera just focuses on his face while he's driving, and he's just like he's contemplating everything, and I'm like, all right, yeah, no, he's going back,
and he's like convincing himself that this is what he needs to do. He's like,
a death in the movie though that I am completely okay with. Who's this guy? What was his name? It was a weird name. The guy he kills in the hotel.
Oh yeah, Wainwright.
Wainwright by Kevin Gage. Please tell me he doesn't actually have these tattoos, right?
Yeah, hopefully fucking not.
I really, really hope that those tattoos are not real and this is just, his time in prison. I'm looking, I just want to confirm. Okay. Yes, it is only in the movie. They are very fake. I can tell. Okay, yeah. Okay, thank God. But when great, I was waiting for this guy to die. He also, talk about someone who does abuse women. He is a serial rapist murderer.
Yeah.
Holy shit, for one. And, he was just like, I'm confused as he just like seemed to join the job. Like, was he in it from the jump, or like was this like his first job with this crew?
This was his first job with the crew, and his only job with the crew. I took it to mean that he was the one who had some sort of insider information about this thing, or he was the connection that got them to the job.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like a trial run to see if he was worthy of joining the crew. As it
tryouts.
Wow. And they were very quickly like, Jesus fucking Christ, no.
Yeah, let's off this guy. Let's.
Yeah, I made a little bit of a talk earlier about how Michael Mann does a good job and not, unnecessary violence towards women. But that one was rough.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of a Tarantino thing of like making someone do something just absolutely heinous so that whenever they die, you're like, very good.
That's true because the coming to Trejo's place, killing his lady, and seeing him near death there, it is enough to be like, oh man, this guy's got to go. But it's not enough for you to be like that is the life, that is the life they've chosen, and that was the danger of what they got into. Mm-hmm. And obviously it's not deserved by anyone on any end, but there is a degree to that where you'd go, Neil, don't go off the deep end here and do something that's gonna fuck up everything. But after he did the thing earlier in the movie, you're like, go kill this motherfucker. Jesus Christ, get him out of here.
Yeah, no. And they even have the moment of the mother coming up and like hugging up and like,
that scene made me cry.
Okay, actually fair enough. I did cry there. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that was like, oh my God. I was like,
and it was that moment that got Vincent Hanna my character.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
If I had to point to one moment in the movie, there are a lot of moments that get Vincent Hanna the character, but this is, I mean, there is just a fascinating empathy to this man. This, cause he says to his wife, I got to keep that angst. It's what keeps me right. It's what gives me my edge, but it's in moments like that he shows who he is, like what is important to him and what he values. And obviously it's important for the investigation to, she can't go touch her daughter.
Yeah.
But
it's more of like,
but she also,
says, why is she even here? He's like, she
should not be here. It's because something heinous was done to her daughter, like you can't, and the empathy to maintain, like, she can't see this, and the way he just pulls her into a hug and nearly cries right there. There were moments in this performance where Al Pacino, he gets like right on the verge of tears and then like swallows them right up, and it's fascinating to watch. It happens multiple times, and that was probably the most impressive one to me.
It's like he has to just he's taking all the burden for himself, and he can't. He's like, I can't share it with anyone. It's my burden, it's and he does say, I mean, this is the scene. I think, this is the scene where my line does come from. But he's saying like, what, do you want me to come home and tell you that some junkie put their baby in a microwave to shut them up because they were crying too loud, blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, maybe not that, you could put it in some lighter terms. But then his wife Justine delivers my line, and just a beautiful monologue, the classic trope of a cop wife or detective wife that just, no attention given at all. But she says, "You don't live with me. You live amongst the remains of dead people. You read the terrain, you search for signs of passing, for the scent of your prey, and then you hunt them down. That's the only thing you're committed to. The rest is the mess you leave as you pass through." And then she even says, "What I don't understand is why I can't cut loose of you." Which was an interesting, like, end to that conversation, because I thought it was, just the, wow, like, she's getting no attention whatsoever. She's just trying anything she can to, like, get anything out of Hannah, like, anything at all. And nothing's being given. And then that little twist there at the end, I was like, oh, like, I guess, you got into the relationship in the first place. They're like, you're not just gonna, you like, go with a detective, or like you're not just gonna choose.
And that's the thing is, there are a ton of reasons why she can't cut loose of him. He might not be a great partner, but he is a genuinely good man, and that's shown repeatedly. He's a better father to her daughter than the biological father has ever been.
How sad is that? He's never around, and he is still a better. Well, I guess the other guy's more not around.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, he's, I guess, not a. I don't know what this other guy. Do we ever see that guy?
Never see. That's how absent he is that he's not in the movie.
Well, does he explain what? Like, I feel like he talks about him and says like why he's just a piece of shit. Maybe he just says.
Not like does that piece of shit even know?
Yeah.
What's going on with his daughter? And she's like, I don't know. Like,
but man, yeah, that like they're breaking up. She even cheats on him on purpose. Like fully knowing what this will do.
I'm degrading myself with Wayne here. I can't remember his name, but
that guy just had me to sit through that all. Like,
he's like, no, sit down. I'm
very upset.
Incredible.
I'm very upset, Wayne. But you can sit on her sofa. You can ball my wife, whatever. But what you can't do is watch my goddamn television set. I love it. That's his only. That's like his only. That's the only thing he owns.
And that's what's funny too is that that's not. Yeah, because I mean, it is his ex-wife's ex-husband's house.
Yeah.
So like I love that. Like he's like, that is the step that took it too far. Mm-mm. You got comfortable and you started watching television on my TV, and I cannot abide.
Yeah, fucking my wife, I can live with. I understand. I am a piece of shit husband.
Yeah,
sitting on her sofa, it's expensive. Look at this house. It looks comfortable. But the one thing he owns, that's all he got.
Ralph. It was Ralph. I just said Wayne because it was some fucking schmuck name, but
get the fuck down, Ralph. Okay. He's like, okay, fuck.
He's like, hey, Vincent, I'm so sorry, man. It wasn't. He's like, brother, shut the fuck up for a second. Mm-hmm. I love Al Pacino in this movie, man. And that was the thing, is that I went the flip side. I did go Vincent Hanna character. Robert De Niro as Neil McCauley for the performance. And it was because of it ultimately came down to, I think Neil gets a more fascinating exploration as far as his dissonance and his, his warring ideals, like what he wants versus what he has versus what he needs and all that. But I think that there's no doubt that Vincent Hanna is the better dude, the better man. There's there's the moment, obviously, when he finds Natalie Portman's character in the bathtub. Whenever he's like, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be like, he's pulling her out of the tub and he's checking her and everything. And he's like, assholes shoot themselves every day. Not you. He's like,
not my girl. Yeah. When he walks in that hotel room, I didn't even know that like she was staying there with him. Like that didn't really click for me. But then I saw the like,
she is.
Wait,
like,
no, like you mean Justine or Natalie like the daughter?
Natalie Portman's character.
Oh, because I thought at the hospital, Justine says like she chose you, know, sort of thing. And that is that like his first
Adam
time
chose his place to do it.
Oh my. Oh, okay. I thought it was like even through the separation, she's like still choosing to stay.
No, yeah, that's like she knew, and it's jarring for the mom.
Wow.
She knew that it was the most aggressive call for help she could have possibly made.
Yeah,
she knew that if there was anybody who would save her life effectively, it was Vincent. And that's why I went with him as the character, is because there was also that layer to it. Whenever he's running into the hospital, he's picked her up and he's like running in and he's like, we need a doctor. We need it. And he gives them all the rundown.
Get her blah, blah, blah. Start this out. Yeah. All that stuff. And I was like, okay. Yeah. He's obviously been around a couple homicides and a couple murders and stuff. So dude knows what he's talking about, but like having to keep that while it's like
composure.
Oh my God. In the hotel, like I saw the water like out of the bathroom door at first, and like it clicked like right away. I instantly went no. I was like no, no, and then he walks towards the bathroom and yeah, it's there. I was just like like I was like no, I was like froze until like they got to the hospital, and then like finally like whenever they just sat down, like. The nurse comes out, like, they're gonna be okay, or she's gonna be okay, she's stable. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, holy fuck. And it was, I thought the movie was over at the bank heist. I thought that was the culmination of the movie. Literally. I'm like, oh my God, this movie's incredible. It could end right here. And I'd be satisfied completely. And I checked the time, and there's like an hour and a half left or something like that. And I'm like, what? I'm like,
like an hour 15, hour 20 by that point. Yeah.
And like, not to say that like the movie's too long. It's like I could have taken probably another 3 hours on top of this and been completely okay with it. But like, yeah, it was just, I was like, there's more. I'm like, I don't know. I thought, because Michael, his previous two movies, they've always ended with this crazy sequence of insane, it's just insanity going on, and then characters walk away from it. That's what I was expecting. It's not the ending I wanted, because I was like, I really needed that the Hannah and Neil show off or face off. Like after that, I was trying to find another scene, and I think it's just kind of undeniable, because I even read some trivia over it. And this is like what signed De Niro. I think it was De Niro specifically. He was like, this scene is like, I am so excited for this scene that I'm taking this job. And this is like, they didn't meet before. They didn't rehearse before. They thought it was better to just let them go, because the characters don't know each other. And like, just let, this was their first like interaction.
This is their first scene together ever. Obviously, they were in Godfather 2 together, but this is their first scene one-on-one ever.
Oh my God. No, it just, you told me before the movie started, I think it was right when I started, maybe, or right before, you're like, you'll know when you get to the scene. And like, they started talking for like 10 seconds, and I'm like, this has to be it, right? I was like, this just has to be it, right? And they keep going, and I'm like, God damn, this is theirs.
No, yeah, it's undoubtedly the scene of the movie, man. Like, setting up this worthy adversary, in another life, I think I could have got down with a motherfucker like you, basically. You're kind of dope. I kind of fuck with you, dog, but now ain't the time or place.
Yeah, he can have a cup of coffee with the number one criminal he is chasing, but he can't sit down with his wife and have dinner, or like, I thought it's just hilarious. He holds De Niro's hand. He has a cup of coffee with De Niro. It's the only thing he's thinking of. It's like, that's the person who is like put up on a pedestal for him. It's like, I appreciate what you do. You're good, they have like this bromance a little bit, it's not really both ways, because Neil is like, I won't hesitate for a fucking second. If you get in my way, like I'm going to kill you. It's what I do. It is,
if it comes down to you versus some guy some guy whose wife you're going to make a widow, I'm going to put you down every time.
Yeah. They're both not going to hesitate. It's like, And from that moment on, I'm like, okay, when are they gonna have this one-on-one battle? You know, it's gotta be one-on-one, right? And perfect that it's just in an airfield, like just in an airport. I guess is Neil running towards his getaway plane? Like that's his plan, is to probably kill. He's wanting to kill Hannah, but like get to whatever hangar his plane's at, or is his plane already gone?
My money is that his plane is the one. Oh wait, no, a plane lands. It doesn't take off during that.
There's
scene.
a bunch that land and take off. I mean, it is an airport. Fair enough.
Yeah,
and
I'm willing to bet.
Oh my god, with the light turn.
He was supposed to get there, obviously, to catch a flight, but I think that ideally he kills Vincent, hops on his plane, gets the fuck out of there. You know, like it is actually the perfect place for a getaway if you are going to kill a lieutenant in the LAPD. Is the airport where your getaway plane is about to fly off.
Yeah. And shit. I mean, I loved, you know, like in I watched some videos over like how people thought of the movie, and some people were like, how did Vincent know exactly where to run and all this stuff, and like he tracking him perfectly, like like from the moment that Neil leaves Edie and starts to run, you know, like I loved that Vincent realized he saw the car with a woman in it, and he knew instantly before seeing Neil was like,
that's who that was. Yeah,
this has to be it, and he's sprinting. I mean, just running, and it's not that like people were like he was Neil got such a head start, and like how could he find him? It's like no, it's just like he knows his prey so well, you know, like that's the whole point, you know, like I don't know, like I felt like he just knew who he was going for so well that like it's obvious to him, you know, everything was kind of obvious. Even the scrapyard and the shipyard.
The scrapyard. The very first time you meet his character after the heist, like the very beginning heist, and he's like, yeah. Well, look here. This means this. Look here. This means this. Yeah. That's this, and that's that. You know, and he's just like, he's got that shit down pat. Like he's a wonderful, wonderful investigator. And there are a few other scenes, you know, the shipyard's there where he's like, motherfucker. Yeah, we just got made, you know, all right, motherfucker.
Yeah, trying to look around, see where he is, and oh man. No, that was, and they had the guys sitting up on top of the water tower and like listening into their conversation, and they literally heard them say, here's one escape route, here's the other escape route, and then they get down there, and then they're like, they were looking this way and then looking this way. What could they be looking at? That was the only part where I was a little confused as to like, didn't they literally hear what they were saying, or were those not cops that were up there? Were those
were cops? I think the confusion came from there not being escape routes and the place being nonsensical for a heist.
I thought it was just like, you know, over that yonder is that highway, you know, like obviously not right here what we're looking at, but just
I think that mostly what they were doing when they were setting up to like figure out how to bust them. If they know the escape routes, they know where to set up. They went there. They couldn't make sense of what they would be stealing. They couldn't make sense of how they would get out of there. And that's when Al Pacino goes, motherfucker, you guys are fucking stupid. You know, like,
yeah.
You motherfuckers are so goddamn stupid.
Man, Michael Mann, he always loves to open up with a great ass sequence. You know, this is an extended one as well. And I was waiting for the horizon shot, you know, after this sequence, and it kind of does come. There's a few shots that mimic the two people sitting on a beach talking. I forget what the first one is. I think it might be Neil setting his gun down. And like looking out the window, and it's just by himself. Yeah. That's one of my shot candidates. Just that, I mean,
fucking beautiful that.
And one thing right when the movie ended, I was like, okay, I know this is like one of the all time movies for me. I mean, this is obviously number one for Mann. Like it was already number one, but then I'm like, man, I don't know. I think Manhunter and Thief looked prettier to me. You know, I was like, I felt like I noticed more shots out of those movies. And I'm like, yeah, just visually, I don't think this one was there. And then, you know, after about 10 minutes of talking about that, I go back and just scrub through the movie, and I'm like, I'm so wrong. I'm so wrong. It's like,
no, yeah, I was trying to be like, because I'm never going to be dismissive of one's opinion of a movie. If you don't think a movie is good looking, then I'm not gonna deny you that.
No,
but I was like, man, I don't fucking know. As you were,
I literally think it was just because of how much was going on in the movie. Like, I'm like, it's De Niro, Al Pacino. I'm focusing on their characters, their performances. I'm like, oh my god, there's so much going on. And then finally, when I just sat back and was like, knew what the movie all was, and I'm just like going through, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, no, there's that light blue light that man likes to use a whole lot. Like, it shows in like at the perfect times. It's that moment whenever Val Kilmer and I guess I'm using Charlene. Yeah, I'm using character. And I always say Pacino or De Niro and Val. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just you know, that way I know exactly who we're talking about, though. You know, there's no question.
In that moment, whenever they're leaving each other, light blue light there. Whenever De Niro and Edie are up on like a hill talking about, like, I think I forget what conversation they're having. Maybe just like, you know, you can leave right now, or you can come with me, leave on your own, sort of thing. It's just these like, I don't know. It's beautifully shot, and I ate my words so hard whenever I was scrubbing through, and because at first I'm like, I don't know what shot I'm going to go with, because at the end I was like, oh, the final shot. It's very. I mean, it's a
visual storytelling wise, probably the most affecting shot in the entire movie. Yeah, like it
is there. It's the carrot. Like it's what the whole movie's building towards. And then there's always part of me that's like, I hate choosing the end of a movie. I hate
the obvious, like the obviously just that is the shot of the film, because it is. I would say.
And that was the only thing that kind of was in my mind at first. And then I'm going back and scrubbing through, and I'm like, I see that him putting the gun down on the table, and then the slow pan up to you know, him just looking out.
God, the way that Michael Mann plays with depth of field, it's so fucking pretty. Like the way that the gun starts in focus, and all we do is a slow pan upward. It's not like there's a zoom in or anything, but the way the focus shifts to being on Bob De Niro there looking out the window, like, my God. And then beyond that, we get a cut that's like just the water and his face blurred out, and it's like, it's fucking gorgeous, you know, like, and there's a shot later on in the movie where I love the way that he is unafraid to let something obstruct the entire view of the camera. Whenever he does chase Edie through the field, and we get this shot of like the sunset and the reeds being like blurred, and you see Bob De Niro and I feel bad for using one character and one actor,
Amy
but
Brenneman.
Amy Brenneman, yeah, you see Amy Brenneman and Bob De Niro, and he like kind of comes up and grabs her, and he's like, no, wait, but it's just one very quick shot. That's all it is, and it's fucking gorgeous, and so like it's packed to the brim with just beautiful visuals. I really enjoy the way this movie looks.
I don't know what my brain was on.
But it's just that with Thief and Manhunter, it was like vibes on 10 and a cool story is threaded in there. Like, it felt like the emphasis of those movies, the focal point of creating those at all.
Like
was the visual experience.
Is like the alleyway, the rain, you know, slow pan down, and then like seeing, you know, just walk. Like it's a simple shot like that, but like it's very noticeable, I guess, in those movies, because it is. I mean, it's a lot slow. I mean, this movie's kind of like bang bang, like there's just shit going on. There's so much happening, and I don't know. It's crazy. It's a longer movie. And there are moments where you get to slow down and talk with characters, but like I feel like it's just like you're kind of going. It's the last, like, I'd say after what, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like because Trejo, maybe when Trejo gives like the phone call and says like, I can't, you know, or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
they're on me like a cheap suit.
Oh, that's before the bank heist. And I love how Danny Trejo is just playing Trejo. Just, everyone else has a character name, whatever. Let's just Trejo. It's just perfect. Should have just called him Machete or something. I don't know.
Right.
But like, even that shot, his death, like the decision to go outside of the house and show the flash of the gun, instead of just, I don't know, like it could have been on De Niro's face or something like that.
Right.
I don't know, or just kept it in there. But that was like, there was so many great decisions to shoot the things the way he did. And
dude, there are some visual choices like that in and of itself, like the progression to getting outside, because it's not like we just hard cut out there from everything. It starts with his gun in focus entering frame. The gun goes out of focus and it focuses on the window out there, and then it's outside and you show the gunshot, and it's like,
God,
this is like, I think we're also, a lot of it is like, he's really good at telling the story from the perspective of the characters visually, and this is Neil removing himself from what he wants to do entirely. Clearly, he doesn't want to kill Trejo.
Yeah,
he has to. He's like, my poor boy. He's going out sad here. Basically, just begged me to fucking put him out of his misery. Like,
like he's like, my girl's gone. I can't feel a thing. Please don't leave me like this. And I was like, oh my God. And like, what a like, that's the thing, is that like everyone has their like Oscar kind of moment. Like, and that, like, what a, like, he's not actually dying there. He's not actually fucked up and injured. He's just laying there. But goddamn, did I feel like Danny Trejo was actually dying right there.
Danny Trejo is fucking good, man. He's
It's crazy that like there are characters like that are like, just, they're not in the movie a whole lot. They're just kind of there. And
I mean, Dennis Haysbert as Donald, Allstate. Are you in good hands?
That was the one part of the movie where I was like, why? I'm like, come on, and it's the classic trope of a con that's doing, he's doing good. He's about to get out, and like, who was the character? Was that like his sister, or like maybe an old girlfriend, or like, who was the girl who came up to him and sat down and was like, come home, or something like that. Like, I'm so proud of you.
Oh, that's his lady. That's how I took it.
That's what I thought. But like, you had that moment of like, things are going good for, his job is shitty, but like, at least it's, he's not doing anything bad. And then De Niro's like, all right, got a job. I need the answer right now. What do you say? And like, I'm just like, God, I was like, from that moment, I'm like, no, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, like,
well,
that's the thing though, is that like, he didn't like where he was. He didn't want to be doing what he was doing. So it's hard to be like,
fair enough.
Obviously it's sad. Like, it's shitty that he goes out the way he does, and that fucking sucks. But like, you could make the argument he goes out doing what he wanted to do. It's not something he had to do. It's not something that was state mandated, something that he was forced to do because it has to keep him, keep him clean on parole and everything. Like, you gotta be employed. You gotta do all that, he's doing what he wants to do, and it just happens to go bad. And, it sucks. It does. That was one of those ones where it was like, fuck. But that was the thing too, is that this movie did a lot of epic, badass, look at what we do, isn't it fucking cool? And it didn't show a lot of how dangerous what they were doing was until that sort of shootout, whenever like 3 of them die, cops die, like it's a big fucking deal.
Like at the beginning sequence, like, those cops die there, whatever, but like, that was a clean in out, like, like there was no real risk of getting caught for them, really. Like, it was perfection. And then, like, even on the next mission or next heist that they're doing, is this one like they're just trying to steal like platinum or like precious metals or something like that in a safe?
Well, I think it's a vault containing cash at the precious metals factory.
Okay. Gotcha. But that, like, even that scene is like, it's just the 2 of them there. I guess the one guy to turn the alarm off up at the, light pole, whatever. But then it's just Val Kilmer and De Niro. And I love that like thermal camera. Whenever he like backs into the shadow, and he's just standing watch. But then that one cop sits against the truck with his, makes the bang against the truck, and then De Niro just stares at the truck, and then you get this back and forth shot of Al Pacino and De Niro just like looking at each other. You have Al Pacino directly looking at the camera footage, so he is looking at De Niro, but like De Niro is just looking at a truck. Right. There's not actually staring at Hannah there at all. But like what a moment that was, and then he's like, "We gotta walk now, we gotta go.
We gotta go." He's like, "I'm almost there. Doesn't matter. We steal anything and we are fucked. They'll let us go if we leave now."
Kind of crazy. And like it's what a shitty thing. Like they know for a fact that it is these people. There's no ifs and or buts about it.
But they have no evidence that they've ever stolen anything. They know they have to catch them red-handed, or it's nothing. There's nothing they can do. Because even Val Kilmer at the end of the fucking movie has a valid ID under a false name and a car registered to someone else, which is considered valid. And it's like, they got the way to get away. That's, if there is anything they've got on lock, it's that they can disappear in 30 seconds flat. That is true. That is what they can do.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There's so many cool, just filmmaking choices. And that was one of them. It reminds me, and it's always funny to connect shit to Star Wars, but it reminded me of Star Wars. Look at the camera and being feeling like you're looking directly at somebody, you sense that someone's there, like at the end of Empire Strikes Back, whenever Luke is like calling out to Leia, and Leia there's that fade cut to Leia, and she's like, we gotta, they felt each other in that moment. It was so fucking cool. I loved that shit. But one of my favorite, not only was my favorite scene the diner scene, and it was because of just the character work in that moment, setting up the worthy adversary, if that's the case, then, we might as well do something. We might as well go and do something else. He's like, I'm not much good at anything else. I can't remember exactly the thing he says. Here, let me get it pulled up because I just had the quote here. But regardless, during that scene, we start at a distance where you can see in his entirety Bob De Niro sitting across from Al Pacino, and we do these establishing shots of Al Pacino sitting across from Robert De Niro, De Niro sitting across from Al Pacino. You can see their entire back at the beginning of the scene, and you don't even really notice it. That scene pushes in on their faces the entire time. Every cut back and forth, it is getting closer and closer and closer and closer to their faces. And it's just them closing in on each other and understanding one another.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's
because it's a long scene. That's 5 minutes. It is a slow push. It is just barely zooming in on them the entire fucking scene. And by the end of it, it is just each of their faces in frame when they are talking to each other. Because we get to that point wherever Neil goes, "Yeah, it is what it is, pal. It's that, or we both better go do something else." And Vincent goes, "I don't know how to do anything else." Neil goes, "Neither do I." Vincent goes, "I don't much want to either." Neil goes, "Neither do I." And then they have that stare down for a second, and that's when there's even more pushing. And Robert De Niro does that little he kind of nods his head and he's like, "All right, motherfucker, you kind of nice with it. I fuck with you." And Vincent does the same thing. He's like, "All right, this is a dude." Yeah.
Man, I'd in a different world, we could have been.
I really would have loved just doing laundry and taxes with you.
Yeah. But man, you are. I mean, it's crazy how how close it gets. I didn't put that together, but like what a perfect.
Yeah. Again, the way that Michael Mann builds tension in unobvious ways, just ways that you are not even really clocking, but you feel more than anything. Yeah,
like subconscious. You don't notice it. You're focusing on their conversation. You're focusing on what they're saying, but the whole time it's getting more personal. You know, like
exactly.
It is just them, and like there are shots like at the beginning where it's very wide. You know, and like it shows like both of them, and like the whole restaurant. You see all the people behind doing everything, but then like they are the only thing in focus. The people behind them are completely blurred out whenever it gets close, and that's like. I mean, it was already my scene, and you're putting the cherries.
Dude, it is the best scene of the movie. Like, and it's a movie chock full of good scenes. Like the fact that this movie with explosions and brazen gunfights and all this stuff, and the thing that I can come away from it, like what we were just talking about, is that it is so subtle. Like the stuff that it does, it works on an almost subconscious level where you grow to understand these characters without them being like, and here's why I do what I do, and here's what I like doing, and this is why I am the way that I am. You know, like there's almost no fucking exposition. It feels everything they say feels important. There's nothing that's like here's us explaining away what we're doing here and why this is happening. It's just incredibly, incredibly effective. And that slow push that I was talking about, it happens earlier in the movie in that scene between Bob De Niro and Val Kilmer whenever he finds him at his place and he calls Charlene and is like, "Hey, Chris is here." She's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Why?" And she's like, husband and wife stuff. And he goes, "Okay, I'll let him sleep it off." Hangs up the phone. Like, that's all. He's like, "I'm not going to inquire further. That's enough." But then he goes and sits across from him. And again, we get this cool cutting back and forth and just a slow, every time they cut to Val Kilmer, there's not a zoom happening. But every time we cut to Robert De Niro, there's a slow zoom happening on him, showing that he is trying to get deeper and deeper into Chris to try and, you know, get him there.
Man is something.
Dude, he's good. He's so fucking good. And then you get this full pullback. That full pullback to where the water's in the background, both their heads are above the horizon or below the horizon line, which is just, oh goddamn, the fucking staging and blocking in this is goddamn brilliant. I love the way that he can, and it happens multiple times, obviously, but where everything feels like it's in the foreground. It doesn't feel like there's layers.
Yeah.
It feels like everything's stacked and is very two-dimensional. I fucking love when he does that.
It's crazy. Like, I never usually have the movie pulled up on the other side, like on the other screen while we're recording, but like this one I have to, because I did not notice any of this stuff while I'm watching, and like now, like it's incredible. Like I don't know how any part of my brain was like, how is this not shot as well as Thief or Manhunter? You know, I was like, what's going on here? And
there's just so much more going on here, and that's really the bottom line. Is that especially on a first, because I loved this movie on a first watch, I did not gather that it was as critically well done as I did until the second watch. Like
wow.
This is genuinely one of my favorite and one of the best movies I've ever watched. Like and I thought it was just, the first time around, I just thought it was cool. I thought it was a badass, long crime epic. Like, that is what we were getting into. It's a big, like I said, brazen gunfights and explosions and badassery and a cool devil and angel versus each other, and they're very complicated men, and it's just very cool. It's fucking good.
The action is more of like a supplement, just like
like
it is done very well. Like that bank heist scene, like out on the street, like I was like, it was very loud. Had to turn it down. I mean, gunshots are just gunshots.
Oh yeah, I had to turn down the movie multiple times.
But like the sound of it was very, like, just insane. Like, it was warfare. Like, it was just it was crazy what they, like, what was it? I don't know if I've ever seen an action scene quite like that. Like, that was, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to, like, in Nolan, in Dark Knight Rises, whenever Bane
I was
and
going to
Batman
say,
are
the best thing you can compare it to is the Dark Knight trilogy.
like, I'm like, but like even then, like I'm thinking of a battle that just happens like on a street where it's chaos. And in the Dark Knight, right, I just remember like Bane and Batman. It's like all the convicts against, it's just
All
like
the police.
full out war that's going on, and that is like, it's not like this. I think blows that out of the water. Like, it's not even close. Like, I don't think, like, this was just the action, like the cutting back. Like, it's you cut back between all the different, like, the guys that are, you see, what's that one guy? That's not Val Kilmer and not De Niro. Just the one white guy that holds the kid, or that picks up the little girl.
Yeah,
and
Michael.
Michael. Yeah, and just gets shot right in the dome. What a damn, Al Pacino. You had to be pretty.
Dude, and again, just one of those moments where he's doing, like, when he scoops up the little girl, he's like, "It's okay now. I got you. I got you." Like, the presence you have to have, because there is nothing on the surface to a little girl that is different about the dude who just picked her up and the dude who is picking her up thereafter. They both have guns. One of them just shot the other guy. Like, there is every reason for her to still be frightened whenever Al Pacino picks her up. And it seems like he did everything he could to immediately soothe her.
Yeah, he
and that's
away.
Like,
yeah, it's like, get away from this and be like, yeah, everything is.
And
okay,
that's the best thing about Vincent Hanna's character, is that he understands how fucked up everything he deals with on a day-to-day basis is, and he wants nobody else who hasn't signed up for that to ever have to see what he sees.
Yep.
And like, it's just probably, and I've said this multiple times throughout our road here, but probably all-time favorite movie cop, Vincent Hanna.
One, I mean, it's kind of, let's see. Yeah, I mean, like, there's Jim Gordon, but like that's like a whole different kind of thing.
Yeah, it's comic. Like, as far as one movie came in, did their fucking thing, and that was that. Man, hard to top Vincent Hanna here.
Yeah. No, he was amazing. I mean, and like how, like, the rest of his department, like they know that he's like the guy, and like, but even like, whenever he leaves and storms out, like, he's gone, and he's like, how do you know, or
Bon voyage, motherfuckers.
Whatever. And they're just like, well, yeah, I mean, they just I'm going to sleep for a month or whatever. I'm going to go to my hotel and I'm going to go to sleep for a month. And he's just felt defeated there. And like, he was, I don't know. I'm glad they didn't go the coke route, and like, it's just more of he's in this life. It is just who he is, because
you don't need to add another layer of addiction.
No, at all. This is the addiction. Like, the same way that I think Michael said, like, it is the juice. It's not the money, it's the juice. It's like the same for him. Like, this is the juice for him. The chase, the all, like, all of it together. It's what he lives for. It's what he's committed to. And just, I don't know, that, like, I don't think there's any other way to end this movie. Like, I think Neil needed to die. Like, I wanted him to escape, and I wanted, like,
you want that for him, but thematically, like, the way to conclude, because even in that diner scene, again, I'm not going back.
Yeah,
like,
and he calls back
in that moment. What he's saying is, I will die sooner than go back to jail.
He's like, I will either keep stealing and and whatever, or I will die trying to do it. There's no in between. He's and probably fair enough. I'd say once you go to prison, I'd say you really never want to go back. Yeah, that's especially after living this life that he's living now. He already seems very stacked. And even like whenever like there's people that are like, oh, we got to get out of here, and he's like, oh, don't worry about it, like I can set you up. Like don't worry about it. Like
this
I
is
got
what
you.
he wants to do. The only person in this movie who needs money is Val Kilmer.
Yeah, and it's because he gambles it all away.
It's because he gambles it all away.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he's already set. Like, and that's right, because whenever they're like, we should walk, Neil is talking to Michael, and he's like, hey, like you got everything you need. You got bonds, you got all this stuff. Like,
if I were you, man, I'd dip.
Yeah,
I'd get the fuck out of here.
Really, if you were him, would you dip though? You know, are you sure? It's like, sure, that's the right advice to give, but he knows.
You are in the exact same situation, Neil.
Yeah, and at first he's like, oh, Neil, I ride with you. I do whatever you're going to do. He's like, no.
You got to do this yourself, brother.
It's on you, man. And yeah, it was a perfect, like, just that, one last job, or, and just never getting out of the game. It's never going to be enough. It's they're in that life kind of forever once you start. And I thought it was just handled perfectly throughout the whole movie of like the sense of getting out is there. Like there is a real reality of them being able to leave. Obviously, we talked about it earlier, like the ID that Val Kilmer had, the car, like, and even whenever Neil is about to leave, he already had a way out, but then he's like, I need a new way out. How can I trust it? I don't know. And like, it's set up perfectly for him. Everything's there to go, ready, whenever they want. And what a cool role. Oh, what's that guy's name? I only know him from the Transformers. He plays like the like, I don't know. Oh my God. John Voight. Is it Voight?
Oh, John Voight. Yeah.
I think I've only like really seen him in, I don't know. Have I seen him in anything else? I'm not sure, but like I know that he was in Transformers. I'm pretty sure as like a general or something like that.
Most recently, John Voight is a storied actor. Yeah. Very, very long, big career. Mission Impossible.
No, it was National Treasure. He plays Nick Cage's dad, dude.
Yeah.
That's
man. He plays the spoilers for the first Mission Impossible, the villain in Mission Impossible, the guy who ends up being the villain. Most recently, I watched him in Holes. He's the guy who kind of runs the work camp, basically. Not the warden, because that's Sigourney Weaver, but Mr. Sir, I think.
Seen him as like this. He kind of reminded me of the Whistler in Blade.
Just
the look, like the hair. Like I don't know. This was a crazy look for him, but I thought it was perfect. Kind of like the in. Was it Thief? Yeah, what was that guy in Thief? The guy that, just kind of the top dog that set everyone up. But this guy was way cooler. Like he was like he was like just chill. I don't know. He used the seasoned veteran. I feel like this is what Neil wants to get to.
Wants to ascend to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the top position. You just setting everybody up and you take the
But
cut.
there's no action in that. You know, he doesn't get involved. You know, he watches from the sideline, he sets everybody up, he gets his cut, and that's that. And Tom Noonan did have a teeny tiny role. Just showed up. That was Francis Dollarhide. One scene sets them up. It just floats, and I know how to grab it,
There it is. How do you know these numbers? He's like, I don't really guess. I get the straight up data. I know exactly.
Yeah, the thing is that bro knows how to use computers, and a time where using computers is a
exactly
impressive skill.
There was like no security back then, and I love like the terminology they use. He's like, yeah, he's already got the schematics. I got the board that can plug straight into the CPU and override all the security. And it's like, I don't know. I love like they even go in the parking garage, cut that hole out of the ceiling, plug the thing in. They have like the plans, like all the electrical schematics to like where to plug it in, wherever.
Yes.
I don't know. It's
fucking great. Yeah, no, he's like, how about, that seems like a problem, right? But what if? What if we control it so that it shuts down by itself 20 minutes before?
Yeah. Oh, it was And what a switch up of a character to go from crazy serial killer, whatever the fuck he is.
Kind of shows you that Tom Noonan's capable of dimensions here, even if it is just a tiny fucking role. It was a pleasure to see him be sane. You know,
let's see. From Heat to Collateral, is there another role like this? Is there another big to small
I do
role at
not
all?
recall. I don't think so.
Okay. We'll keep an eye out. I'll keep an eye out, while watching. But I love this little continuation of just actors that are just popping up from movie to movie. But yeah, that I don't know. And that there's a shot. Oh, is this? Okay, no, it isn't. I thought you might have gone with this. I didn't want to steal the thunder. But a shot where it's after he talks with them, and then what's his character name? Yeah, Nate. John Voight. Neil and Nate have this little conversation out on the road, and you just see all the way down, like they're on like this outer road. They're like super high, like elevated, but then in the background it's just a highway, perfectly like in line with them. It's dude.
Have you ever seen Uncut Gems?
No. And
well, there's a line in it. I went on a little Michael Mann tear a couple months ago, watched this, Thief, and Collateral. I watched that, like, those three movies in a matter of 2 days, and that was what I did. But over the course of watching those movies, I tweeted something a couple months back that was like Michael Mann when he's scouting locations and finds a place elevated above a city with lights in the background. And it was a line from Adam Sandler in the movie where he goes, "Holy shit, I'm gonna come."
Wow, yeah. Looking at that cast is Kevin Garnett and The Weeknd show up in there.
Kevin Garnett's actually really fucking good in that movie. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But yeah, might be one. It was the first movie we ever covered on this podcast. Actually, me and 𝗃𝗏 went and saw it in theaters, came back and discussed it. But yeah, that was like episode 30 something. But it was like New Year's Eve 2019, so it was a long time.
Is it more of a comedy or more of like an actual? Is it like
if you're first viewing, there's a really good chance that if you're prone to panic attacks, it'll trigger something for you.
Going on in that movie?
It's just chaotic as shit. Like,
wow.
And maybe not if you're not in a movie theater. Like, the sound design is like, there's always so much happening. They work in like this. Adam Sandler works in this jewelry store where like people are always talking. He's always talking to somebody, so you hear a lot of overlapping voices, and it's really hectic and chaotic. And I remember, like, I looked at 𝗃𝗏 about like 15 minutes into the movie and was like, "What the fuck is going on?" I was like, "God damn." But regardless, that was a fun episode, and actually, that's still the only time I've watched Uncut Gems. So if you want, I'm sure my opinions haven't changed that much because I haven't seen it since. That's far back.
It's
not for a lack of wanting to, but simply for that fact where I said it's triggering if you're prone to anxiety.
Not much sensory overload here, other than the after the bank heist. I mean, that was just a lot. That was a lot of gunfire. And obviously, I mean, like, it's a moment where I expected it. Wasn't like, oh, I wish these guns were a little quieter. In this scene. But yeah, I that was the only other thing where, like, the only other scene where I was maybe thinking of going with, just because of like the logistics and everything behind getting that to play out. Like,
the filmmaking is fucking incredible.
Yeah,
this movie was made with, like, never once in this movie did they use a sound stage. Everything is on location. Wherever they are there.
That's awesome. That is incredible. Yeah, I guess, like, wow, even usually in like scenes where you have a big crash, or like I'm thinking of the opening sequence where just that dump was it a garbage truck, or like I don't know what kind of truck that was, but just slams into the vault call. I don't know what to call those. Bank car.
Brinks truck.
Yeah. But like even then, like usually, like they probably. You mean like they didn't add any sound effects or like anything in?
No,
or,
I
like,
mean that's a soundstage is like it's like what they shoot every Marvel movie on. Like a lot with a blue screen is basically what I mean.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Now they almost certainly fucked with the sound design.
I was gonna say, I was like, wait a minute, every sound, like there's no sound effect, like there's no like
I'd be willing to bet that a lot of it's pretty authentic. Yeah. Anywho,
I mean they really crashed that truck into like they really I don't think there's any way to fake that one. And like even like man is Al Pacino. I wonder if he drives like that in real life. Dude is just on coke. It looks like he's driving on coke. Dude was like he pulled out a parking lot so fast. And like whenever he kicks his TV out the door, he like just slams on his brakes at a stoplight, and he looks at his TV. He's like, "Fuck this TV, you know. It's broken anyways. Why the fuck do I even still have it?" And I love the reactions of the people on the bus stop, just like, "What the fuck? Like what? Just like why? I don't okay." And even him,
this
like,
is fucking crazy. I'm reading more of the trivia. That scene involving the shootout after the bank robbery is shown to United States Marine recruits to properly display an example of how to retreat under fire.
Okay. Yeah, there's some real shit going. I mean, it did feel more real. Like it just
and Val Kilmer was thrilled to learn that specifically him changing his magazine is shown to Marines to show how to change a magazine.
Damn. So wait, I think I might have just glanced over that. So he's not ex-military himself, Val Kilmer, at all. He's just actually like that.
He was just like that, and they were like, "Yo, that's how you fucking do it." Like the United States Marine Corps was like, "That's it. That's the one." Yeah, no, I mean, like he went to Juilliard. I don't think he ever.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like he ever.
No, not at all. Yeah, on his Wikipedia page, I'm searching military, and it says gained acclaim for the military action film Top Gun. So that's the only time military shows up. I'm assuming it would show up.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Else. But so okay, yeah, no, I read over that trivia too fast, and then I just assumed
it's even crazier than that. He was never a Marine, and it's shown to Marines to show how to change a magazine, or at least it was at one point.
I might join the military just so I can watch Heat again.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do that on my own.
I'm enlisting, but is there any chance I could just, watch the movie and just be done?
Yeah, like I don't know how to shoot guns or really anything at all, but I feel like this movie would really give me a good lesson.
I feel like it would give me an idea.
And then deuces. I'm out. I'm out of there. After this movie's over, but yeah, that I mean. Just an incredible, and I want to look into like the breakdown of how they did that. Just because, I mean, I'm assuming, yeah, they shut down the street and everything, but like the bullet holes and all of that stuff, was just like they were showing up like in the middle of all the action, and I'm assuming they're already there, but like I don't know, like sometimes they looked a little too. I don't know. Like I wonder if like maybe those cars just are actually not. They don't have any bullet. Like I wonder if it's VFX, or I wonder if
I don't know.
I wonder how they did that, because I mean it was just impressive. I mean that was the only reason I was going with like that for the other choice for the scene, is just how impressive it was. But the diner, I think is just I mean yeah, it's the movie. It is what the movie is all about. It sets up the ending so perfectly, and that is crazy that is their first actual time acting aside each other.
Yeah. I mean they're just two powerhouses, and by this point, two certified legends for 20 years plus.
God, dude. Yeah, like, thank you, Michael Mann, for finally getting them together. And wow, what a movie to put them into.
Coming off The Irishman a few weeks back, it's just so fascinating to watch them. I want to watch I want to do a triple feature of The Godfather 2, Heat, and The Irishman, where it's like 20 years, 20 years, 20 years, as far as the split is concerned.
Like, they're not even that much of a duo, really. Like you said, like they're an iconic duo, but like a duo you would think would have like 10, or
Robert
like
De Niro and Joe Pesci are a fucking duo. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are in movies together, Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Casino, like The Irishman. There's a bunch of movies with Joe Pesci and De Niro.
I think people think of them as an iconic duo just because of their status. It's just like they are the movie stars during, they just are.
That's the power of The Godfather 2. Yeah. Frankly, like,
if you
they were in that together and they were like, is anybody ever going to be as good as Al Pacino and Robert De Niro? Like, that's something that I am so thankful for the Scorsese spotlight that we just did. Is that Robert De Niro might be my favorite actor of all time now that we've done that. Like, when I was watching this, I was just, every time he was on screen, I was like, my God, he is masterful. Because he leans more into that subtlety that this movie has to offer, where Al Pacino does the more brazen, over the top shit. There are just so many moments with him. Whenever Val Kilmer is, he's having surgery done on him, in that back room somewhere, and he like leans over him. He's like, it's gonna be okay. Like, we're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be cool. Like, and it's in those moments that it's De Niro's performance that really gets across just how much he loves his guys. Like, that's his team. That's his family, God damn, is it good. When he's sitting at that table with, at the beginning, at that dinner, and everyone's got their girl, everyone's got their lady, and he's just looking around and he's like, man, like, is all this worth it if I don't have someone to share it with? And then he immediately goes and makes that call to Edie.
Yeah,
just a fantastic performance on his part. It
is, like, even though I have been saying the scene is undeniable, like it is just the diner, like it is crazy how many other choices, like, take the diner, if you could just take the diner out, if that scene didn't exist, it would be beyond difficult to like choose the next, like the runner up. And it is just these little moments where the actors just perform their asses off, and they're so in character. I don't know, like, it's crazy that it is Val Kilmer, it is Robert De Niro, it is Al Pacino, like all these big people, but I am like, it fades away, like in the movie. Like, I'm seeing their character, and that's so hard to do whenever they're up to this
names
status
like this. Yeah.
And especially now that, like, this is 95 and we they've grown even more, like they've become legends now, like, if they weren't already, I don't know, legends by Godfather standards, I guess they're probably already big,
already certified, but now it's two legends colliding. Like, the movie was marketed as, this is Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, like.
That's fair. Yeah, I didn't think about that. This would be insane to see. What would be the equivalent of that today? What that's that. I don't know.
I mean,
that Killers of
the Irishman.
Yeah. Again,
really, like Al Pacino, because that was like Al Pacino and Scorsese again, but this time under Scorsese, which was
like Killers of the Flower Moon was sort of close. You had like Leo and De Niro. Did they ever together, or was that their
No, yeah, Leo and De Niro had never been on screen together.
So I guess that might be the closest comparison we can make. But The Irishman, probably the next one after that. So them again.
I mean, like, as far as movie stars today, I mean, I gotta guess Al Pacino and De Niro at this time were late 40s. You know, I don't even really know who that would be like now.
Wow. He was 55. Al Pacino was 55.
Okay, so De Niro was actually De Niro. God damn, is he almost 60?
And De Niro was 52. De Niro's younger than
Oh,
Al
De Niro's
Pacino?
younger than Pacino.
Oh,
I thought
shit.
Pacino was old. I thought Pacino was younger, but
Al Pacino's 55. De Niro was 52.
man,
Wow.
yeah, no, by no means old, but I thought for sure 40s was what I was looking at. But yeah, I mean, if De Niro was born in 43, 42, 43,
Al Pacino is 83 right now, which would make De Niro 80. So,
yeah.
geez, or if his birthday's happened this year, I'm not sure. But
nah, man, that's goddamn, yeah, yeah, but like that's Leo and somebody else. Like, I mean, I guess if we were gonna get a movie with like Leonardo DiCaprio and like Joaquin Phoenix, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would be a moment, but it still wouldn't be Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. You know, like that's the thing is that I don't think there's an equivalent.
There is no
there.
modern equivalent. Yeah. It's just, and maybe it'll happen in another 40 years or something. But yeah, I don't think it's a very common occurrence at all.
I mean, if we're being for real, if we're going off of the like they were in a movie 20 years ago together and 20 years later they're reuniting and it's going to be Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon, The Departed, you know?
That'd
be kind of a moment, you know? That'd be a little bit of a something.
Yeah.
I mean, if Leo and Matthew McConaughey were making a movie together and we got to build on that Wolf of Wall Street stuff, that would be pretty awesome. So, like, like I said, and again, there's still no real equivalent, but there are some cool options, you know?
Man, yeah, I was ready for this one when you told me it was like Thief plus Manhunter. What you got out of those, and I loved Thief and Manhunter. I was already like in. I'm like, man, Michael Mann is surprising me. I was like, out of all the directors, I was like, I guess it's because I'm just the least familiar with his movies, but I was like, when we get to him, we'll get to him. Like I've never seen anything. I'm like, okay, like sure, but like even Fincher, I was looking forward to Fight Club and all like movies that I have seen before, but in this case, I haven't seen any of them. And
yeah, I will say, for me, this is the peak. We're getting down more to, and don't get me wrong, I love Thief and Manhunter, but we're nearing more Manhunter territory for the next two. And for Collateral, I love Collateral personally. I'm excited to rewatch it with these behind us in a critical, with a critical hindsight. First time watching them, I'm just like, whoa, Tom Cruise, Jamie Foxx, whoa.
I guess Tom Cruise might be that guy now. I guess he could be Tom Cruise.
Ooh, if Tom Cruise and Leonardo DiCaprio were in a movie together, that might be Pacino De Niro level. I'm not gonna lie.
What movie would that be? I don't even know. That would be. I don't know what kind of movie, because like he's more of an act. Yeah, it'd have to be kind of like this. I don't know. I don't know what it would. Yeah, but I mean, there's no stacking up to. I mean, two goats.
I have a question that I hadn't really considered, because when we outlined this project, it was pre some recent stuff.
Okay.
Jamie Foxx wise.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any chance you'd be interested in replacing that movie with something else?
Which movie is he in? He's in Collateral?
He's in both. He's in Collateral and Miami Vice.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's just, man, what a sad.
It would just, it's really fucking disappointing.
I was talking him up. I'm like, one of the most talented in Hollywood, and then like,
I've always loved Jamie Foxx, and the fact that like, what a fucking disgusting turn of events. Like,
and it's already like done. It's been, has he like, I know there's the allegations and everything. I saw that.
Oh, there's
I didn't know
allegations. The thing that came with it is like a laundry list of witnesses. And that's the part that's like, okay. Yeah.
Damn it. God damn it, dude. Yeah, as far as the other movies, I don't know. I mean, I literally have not seen a single Man movie, so I don't even know what to replace them with.
Well, the next one in his filmography, The Insider, is a Russell Crowe Al Pacino movie, which sounds pretty intriguing to me. I do enjoy the idea of that. It's also got Christopher Plummer, who I enjoy a great deal. And then I guess we could continue the tradition of covering the most recent
in Miami
movie.
Vice? Wow. Is he?
Jamie Foxx? Yeah, he's in Miami Vice.
Oh, I'm looking at the TV series. Yeah, okay. God damn it, dude. Yeah, that blows. That just really blows.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx was in Ali, Collateral, and Miami Vice, a close collaborator of Michael Mann for 3 straight movies. Then Public Enemies has Johnny Depp, so we'll skip over that one. And we'll head to Black Hat, his most recent movie, led by Chris Hemsworth with Viola Davis. That's a good one. That's a dub. And it looks like a pretty, not a lot of people I'm familiar with, but
I guess I want to go on the flip side here. Should we let Jamie Foxx ruin the select? Like, is Collateral and Miami Vice, like, are they better movies? Should we let him, the outside, his real life ruin?
No, right.
Sort of
I would say that if there's a movie we keep of the two, my vote's Collateral. I do enjoy Collateral a great deal.
Okay.
And granted, I've never seen Miami Vice, but The Insider from the outset is just intriguing to me, Al Pacino and Russell Crowe wise. Frankly, any chance I can get more of those two, I'm very down for it.
Yeah, I'm cool. I haven't seen any of them, so like I'm looking forward to all of them equally. There's no Heat was the only one that was kind of built up. So it was the only one I was kind of looking forward to a little more. But as far as the next ones, I don't have any.
Well, then my vote is that we cut down on it.
Mm-hmm.
I say we cut the Jamie Foxx intake in half, and we eliminate Miami Vice maybe, and do The Insider and Collateral.
Okay. Yeah. So it does. The Insider would come first, and then Collateral.
Yeah, Collateral would be the last movie we cover prior.
Okay. Then yeah, I'd say let's do that. Of course, just people have to ruin great things.
Yeah.
But maybe, who knows? Maybe this will be a nice change. Maybe The Insider will be one that will surprise the hell out of us.
Russell Crowe and Al Pacino, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how wrong it can go.
Yeah. Seems pretty fine to me. But anywho, sorry to go off on a little bit of a planning tangent there. Just wanted to be transparent with everybody that not hot on Jamie Foxx at the moment, and probably never will be again, which really fucking sucks. What a disgustingly heinous act.
Hollywood is just this fucked up. It's a different world.
It is. But I do have a couple favorites. I still haven't gone over. And that's just my shot and my line. My shot is Edie and Neil kissing on her balcony, overlooking the city. I don't even know exactly what it is he does with the camera that makes shit look like that. But my God, is it fucking gorgeous?
It stood out. That was, very standout.
Every time they're on a balcony with lights in the background, I'm like, I don't even know how you're managing this right now, and it's fucking beautiful. Same with the water, like that shot with Val Kilmer and Robert De Niro in his house. Very same vibe. But yeah, that was my favorite shot. And my favorite line was whenever he's on the phone with Van Zant. After the failed meeting and the failed payment, he goes, he's like, what are you doing? He goes, what am I doing? I'm talking to an empty telephone. Because there's a dead man on the other end of this fucking line.
Yeah, that's not what I want to hear if I'm on the other line or on the other side of that phone. And the thing I know this guy from, the
Dark
dead man,
Knight,
it's Dark Knight. He's a banker, man. Again, I got who knows if he's laundering money.
You guys are dead.
Yeah, I guess in Gotham, he's probably
you know who
laundering
you're
money.
stealing from.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he does come out with a shotgun. You know, he kills one guy, maybe two guys actually. No. Where'd you learn to count? And the Joker finishes him off. So he only gets one guy.
And he clips him. I don't even think he kills him.
Yeah. But then his Neil, honestly, that shot was honestly really nice too. Of the city in the background and Neil's climbing up to his house and like walking and it's all slow. And you see him pick up the chair and I'm like, oh, well, I know it's about to go down. You know, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good.
And he's like, where's this guy? I don't know. Bop, 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 bop. He's like, I believe you, you know,
what the fuck would I know? Okay. Yeah, you are pretty dumb and just a dead. I don't
you're
even
dead.
Yeah.
God damn, this movie is just chock full of just amazing moments, dude. I'm left in a place that's so overwhelmingly happy with this movie, and if you're ready, I'd be down to cut this conversation short because I know we could keep going, but
this is true. Yeah.
Go ahead and give it a rating if we're there because we've gone over everything. You know, I don't think anything else would just be, you know, circles at this point.
It's true. Yeah, I think we are ready. And enjoyment. That was the thing. I was like, I found one gripe with the movie, and it was the visual whatever, and then I ate my words hard. So it's like even like that's more critically, anyways. I was having a blast this whole time. Like just seeing Al Pacino and De Niro was already enough, and then like the story is actually that riveting as well. Like it just keeps you in the. I'm having a blast. 10 is I don't know. 10 is it a 10? I'm having like I think it's a 10 or 9.75 here.
First time I watched it, I would have told you 9.75. Last night, this movie made me cry like 3 or 4 different times. So for me, it's a 10.
I'm going back. Yeah, like I am going back to. If it wasn't so late last night, I would have watched it again.
And that impulse, that should tell you more than you need to know. If immediately upon finishing a 3-hour movie, you are willing to turn on the same 3-hour movie again.
I mean, I love the Batman, but I don't know if I could go back to back on the Batman even. I'd take that back. I think I actually could.
Wait a second. I certainly could.
The only other 10s we have given enjoyment. Moonrise Kingdom, that's just a feel good. That's a 10.
Different kind. You know, there's a Killers of the Flower Moon.
French
got
Dispatch.
a 10.
There on enjoyment. Little Women, that one like blew me away. I was like not even ready for that movie. That was incredible. A cry, emotional, everything. And Killers, yeah. And that would be it. Now we got another one.
Do you feel like it joins that stratosphere, or is it 9.75 with The Irishman and Grand Budapest?
This just has it all. I mean, it has everything.
Yeah.
I think I was only holding it back because this is the first time I've watched it, and I don't know. Like I don't know if I missed something. I don't know if there is. Is there something bad about this movie that I just didn't see because I was so engrossed and so taken back?
Man. A common critique of this movie is that it's like hyper violence and that it doesn't have a keen sense of morality. But I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think it knows exactly who its good guy and who its bad guy is, and I think it knows how to toe the line between bad and good and evil. And I think that it does it with impressive grace. Like it's a fantastic movie. So I'm there. Like this is one of the best movies we've covered in the director spotlights. I'm cool with a 10, and critically about as good as any movie we've covered, man.
We've never given a 10 critically because it's kind of impossible to do so. But
I've kind of negated that as even a possibility. Like I don't think I will ever give anything a 10 critically.
Yeah, Oppenheimer a 9.5, Little Women a 9.5. See, I think Killers was a 9. Yep, Killers was a 9.75. The Irishman a 9.75. I think we're in that company with The Irishman and Killers here. Does that make it a 9.83, which ties it with Killers? It's the exact same as Killers, enjoyment and critically. And
I recently made a Letterboxd list that was ranking by rating 2023, and I sent that to you, right? I adjusted all the comic book movies for just their critical and enjoyment rating. This elevates it to top 3 of 2023 as far as coverage is concerned, with Killers of the Flower Moon, The Dark Knight, and now Heat.
In very, very, very good company.
Our top 5 movies, and these are the only movies that have gotten 9.75 critical, are our top 5 movies of the year. Killers of the Flower Moon, Heat, The Dark Knight, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and The Irishman. 3 of those have Robert De Niro in them.
He just instantly levels up a critic, like just anything critical. It's like, yep, a bump. It is the De Niro 9.75. Yeah. Is probably a
De Niro is in 3 of them. Al Pacino is in 2. Actually, Harvey Keitel is in 2. He's in Grand Budapest and The Irishman. Smaller role, but
wow, yeah, this one was incredible. I'm expecting this to be the peak of Mann. I mean, if it could get better, I'd gladly.
Hey, dog, I'm excited for Ferrari. Yeah. No fucking shot. It's this good. Have you heard of? And I'm assuming you haven't. There was a novel published last year, middle of last year, titled Heat 2. And it is intended to be adapted into a movie where it will be a prequel about Neil, starring Adam Driver as Neil McCauley.
So this is Adam Driver's tryout.
This is Adam Driver's. Yeah, this is Adam Driver's time
to see if he can do Heat 2.
Mm-hmm.
A prequel, dude. We're gonna see how he becomes this legend.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it says the poster says something like, it's like Heat 2, and the 2 is between 1988 and 2000. So this movie taking place in 1995, I think it's going to take us like up to the events of Heat and then the fallout thereafter.
Ooh. Yeah. I'm seated for that when it comes out. I don't think it'll be up to, who knows? Some people like Godfather 2 over Godfather 1. You never know. It could be better.
Never know. You never know.
I'll leave it open. But if he can,
I think Adam Driver has some impossible shoes to fill.
Yeah, that would be near impossible to do. But hey, Adam Driver, if you're capable, let's see it. You know that'd be a hell of a movie. To top Heat. But I guess it could be done, so I won't leave it out of the question. But yeah, no, I think we've reached the peak of Mann's filmography here.
I would say so. I would say so. But we do have a lot to look forward to throughout the end of the year. We have now decided we're going to do The Insider next week, not Collateral. We will do Collateral the week thereafter, and then we will top off the Mann Spotlight with his newly released Ferrari. I've already asked off December 26th so that we can go see that movie that day and go and record after, because
solid.
Christmas Day, probably unlikely.
Yeah, there's some stuff going on.
Yeah, just there's stuff going on, you know. The family wants me around for some reason. Can't really
can't escape them ever on Christmas, but that's okay.
But yeah, December 26th, I'm seated in that fucking movie theater, and we're gonna go see that movie, and then we'll discuss it thereafter. And I am so excited. This spotlight has only given me even more hope for what Ferrari could be. But with that, we will conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. If you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, including recently we began planning a project for the future, a 52-year journey through film sequel series. You know, director spotlight didn't feel like it was, you know, it's not the sequel to that. The comic book journey through film is not the sequel to that. We wanted to try to recapture something with the spirit of the 52-year journey through film, a wide variety of film that still allows us to work within boundaries. And I think that we've got something cooking, and that planning's over there at patreon.com/PennyBloomPod. If you would, head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram at Penny Bloom Podcast, follow on Letterboxd at Penny Bloom Pod. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review, and to continue to download episodes. We will be back this Friday with what is this Friday comic book movie journey through film wise. Week after, is it Jonah Hex? Is it Jonah Hex week?
I believe it is Jonah Hex week.
Yep. So Jonah Hex, we're gonna balance heat with Jonah Hex this Friday. We're obviously continuing our Game of Thrones rewatch on Mondays. Winter is blooming, and I'm so very excited for that. But yeah, stick with us. We got the content. And we have no plans of stopping anytime soon. So stick with us, and you'll be satisfied. But with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It is always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And who? What are you, a fucking owl?